Yes, he has joined.
Okay. So before I proceed, let me officially recognize the presence of our facilitator in person of scholar Uchenna Emelife. You are highly welcome, sir. Uh, the next item of the agenda is reading of citation of our ever facilitator. And here, the General Secretary of the University Scholars Forum will anchor this agenda. Please, if you can hear me, kindly unmute yourself and read the citation of our potential facilitator. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Scholar Diab. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bilkis Yahya, General Secretary of the University Scholars Forum, and I will be reading the citation of Scholar Uchenna Emelife, our facilitator for today. Uchenna Emelife is a literacy advocate, curator, and bookseller dedicated to promoting the reading culture, quality education, and youth engagement using artistic and cultural programs. In 2020, he established Book O'Clock, an organization featuring a journal, book clubs, and a bookstore, through which he curates projects that make artistic and literary activity attractive and exciting for youth and children. In 2021, he co-founded the Sokoto Book and Art Festival, an internationally recognized event that engaged young creatives in Sokoto. In 2022, Uchenna was invited to the inaugural Sharjah International Bookseller Conference in the United Arab Emirates (UAE), where he connected with other booksellers and expanded his enterprise network. A literature graduate, he received the federal government scholarship and Best Graduating Student Awards for and was nominated for the Ashoka Africa Changemakers Prize and Founder of the Year Award for his work. Join me and uh, welcome our great facilitator of a book lover in person of Uchenna Emelife. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Belekesu. But I think it's not worth it that his name is actually Emelife and not Emefiele. You know, they are so different individuals. All right.
All
Thank you.
right, my apologies, please.
Sir Uchenna Emelife, you have the floor.
Sorry, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
You have the floor, sir. We can
Okay.
see.
Maybe I think I was able to present even before you made me co-host because I think I'm getting um, requests from persons who are joining the call and is interrupting the process. So you can remove me from a co-host and I can just present as a guest. I think that would be better for so I don't have any challenge while presenting. All right. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction and everyone who has made up time to join the call. So today we are discussing how to network like a pro. Okay, just to also add words to what Agility had said, my name is Emelife, not Emefele, because we are two entirely different persons. So it's important that that distinction is established. So I'll be sharing my slides now so that we can dive right into the discussion and have a fruitful interaction as colleagues, as workmates, as persons who are on the same path to excellence, as young readers, as young entrepreneurs. So I'll be doing that now. So please just confirm with me at any point if my slide is visible. If it's not, I will see what I can do at my end. Can you see my presentation yet?
We can't see
Not
your
yet.
slide, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me it's copying up. It's going to pop up now. Okay, okay. Just give me a minute, please. Let me find out why it's not popping up.
All right. while he fixes he addresses the situation from his end, would anyone, or maybe if you can have a person or two people signify their ends and tell us what they understood by the word networking? Like, if you heard the concept professional networking, like, what do you understand by that concept? We look forward to your input so I can get an idea of our level of understanding of the concept of discussion. Public Secretary, you may go ahead with
Where
that.
with that? Okay. Okay, scholars, have you had the question thrown, challenge thrown to you by the convener? If anyone can tell this glance what you know about professional networking, you may please raise your hands or drop it in the chat box. Thank
You know,
Yes, we can. You may go ahead, sir.
you.
so that I don't interrupt, you could just place your thoughts in the chat box, then we can revisit your opinions and comments when we are done with the presentation so that we can have a better flow of the presentation. Okay? All right, so let's go back to the slides. So the topic says how to network like a pro. So today we'll be looking at the following. We'll look at an introduction, which is what has been done already, and I will sort of sample the opinions on networking. Then I would share my thoughts on what networking is, the importance of networking, types of networking, how to build and sustain your network, and then conclusion. So before we begin, quickly, I would just like to get an opinion, just one opinion, so that on what they understand by networking, especially in the context of our conversation. What do you understand by networking? So others can share theirs in the chat box, but I want to just hear somebody speak via the microphone on what they think about networking. Who wants to? Anyone who wants to go first? Because IGB can handle that. Anyone who wants to go first, we can mute their mics and speak.
All right, Public Secretary, you may go ahead with that.
Okay, so I think the scholars are complaining that they are not much audible, even from my end here. I can see this
Oh, I'm not
one.
very
Scholars,
audible.
please. Yes, sir.
Apologies for that. How about now?
Yes, it's okay.
So just let me know at every point if you can hear me, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Uh, Scholars, please, if you have any opinion, kindly raise your hand, or you can drop your opinions in the chat box so that the program, the session will continue.
I think we can commence. So we just use the chat box so that there are no interruptions. All right. So networking refers to. Is my audio okay? Because I'm hearing myself. Is somebody unmuted?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay. Networking refers to the process of building, maintaining, and utilizing relationships and connections with individuals, groups, or organizations to exchange information, resources, or services. Now, it involves creating a web of contacts and interactions to achieve mutual benefits, support, and opportunities. So now, basically, this is a summation of what networking is: the process of building, maintaining, and utilizing relationships and connections with individuals. This could be a group of individuals. This could be a group as in an organization. This could be a single person for the purpose of exchanging resources, information, or services. It involves creating a web of contact and interactions to achieve mutual benefits, support, and opportunities. In today's age and time, it is important that one is intentional about building a web of contacts, a web of individuals they can turn to, a web of connections that would serve different purposes according to the individual that is involved or the organization that is involved. So it is a skill that is required of everyone, whether you're a young leader, a change maker, an entrepreneur, uh, someone intending to work in a non-profit space, even one who is intending to work in the private space, the public space, all of these spaces and platforms is required that you are able to build network. Because what that does is that it gives you a team, it gives you a community, it gives you people that you can turn to, it gives you people that you can rely on. So that is briefly what networking entails. So now it's important that we know that networking is a two-way connection. It is not just you uh, intending to connect with someone, it is you offering yourself to be connected to. What I mean by this is that it is a two-way connection. I give and I take from you. But it's also very important to know that sometimes someone may be in your network without you being in theirs. What I mean by this is that it is possible that for a person A is part of your network because you've been able to establish a professional relationship with that person, either through social media or through a meeting you had with the person, or you listened to the person and you began to follow their activities, follow their work, start modeling your life after them or taking your steps and seeking guidance from them. In that situation, that person is playing the role of a network in your life. But at the same time, that person may not even have you in their own network, may not even realize that you are in their network. So it is mostly a two-way relationship. But in rare cases, you can have someone in your network without them having you back. You'll find this mostly when you share a network with someone who is way above you, probably in their years of experience or probably in their exposure or the kind of influence they garner in the society. You know that they are not accessible as every other person. So in that case, you put them in your network as mentors, you put them in your network as guide, But if they cannot share that same relationship with you because you are not on the same level of exposure, level of influence. So you see, instead of being a two-way thing, which is what networking is, you've seen that it is one way, but at the same time two-way because your life is also influencing what they are doing because the steps they are taking has been guided by them. So in a way, you are also sort of adding to what the impact they are making without them even knowing. Let me cite an example. For instance, you are interested in going into real estate. Now you have some interesting portfolio in real estate, and there's someone who is a real estate expert, probably in the United Kingdom. You are in Nigeria, in Sokoto, very far away from the United Kingdom, has never attended any event this person has attended, but you follow this person religiously on LinkedIn, such that you are able to cite real examples of your life that you have been able to follow steps and admonishments made by this person. In that case, that person is in your network, but he does not have you in his own network. But what happens is that you have been able to utilize that relationship that is one way and still fulfill every other aspect or every other requirement or every other benefit of what a network comes with. So I just wanted to point that out because networking is it's usually two-way, but in very rare cases it is one way, and you must be open to however it comes. You must be open. Oh, it's one way, no problem, I accept it. It's two-way, no problem, I accept it. What is most important is how you utilize that relationship. How do you utilize that relationship? How do you utilize that connection? That is what networking is. If you go to look at the previous definition, it says here, um, to achieve benefits, mutual benefits, support, and opportunities. Because it remains incomplete. The networking remains incomplete if there are no results. Whether the result is that you are able to have a better work strategy, whether the result is that you're able to realize the mistakes you've made in the past, whether the result is as little as you figuring out the next step to take, that is when networking becomes complete. It becomes complete when there is a result. If not, what you will just have is a connection. Oh, I know this person. Or you know this person, how has that knowledge helped you in your work? That is how networking works. So focus on how you utilize that relationship. So now what is the importance of networking? Now I've itemized there six importance of networking. Number one, which is very important, is that it provides a sense of belonging and shared goals. Networking gives you a community. It gives you persons who think like you, who share the same values as you, who are on the same track as you. They may not be doing exactly the same thing that you are doing, but at the same time, you've been able to identify and say, oh, these people are taking steps that I would also take, I have taken, but I'm interested in taking. So you have people that you can rely on. You have people that you can go for mental support because this work, especially when you are doing the work we do in Nigeria, whatever industry you find yourself in, is increasingly becoming difficult. Increasingly becoming mentally draining. So you need a community that you can fall back on to remind you of the importance of why you are doing what you are doing. You need a community that you can sort of extend your hands to sort of have people hoist your hands for you those times when you're tired. So that's what networking does for you. It provides a sense of belonging and shared goals. Those times when your motivation cannot keep you going, you have individuals, you have people that you can look at, that you can turn to help you move forward, to help you push forward. Another importance of networking is that it creates collaboration opportunities. It creates opportunities for joint ventures and partnerships. Collaboration is the new competition. We have moved past the time where you can no longer you don't want to, you want to be the only person doing what you are doing. You want to be the one that will take the 100% glory. That is, we have moved past that time. We're no longer in that stage anymore where we're all fighting for sole proprietorship, where it is I and I alone. You want to be the only person. Oh, this is what I did. I'm the one who started this project. I'm the one who initiated the project. I'm the one who sort of implemented the activities of the project. I'm the one who reported the project. I'm the one. Nah, nah, nah. That is no longer the stage we are at right now. Right now, what is expected as entrepreneurs, as filmmakers, as leaders, as persons who intend to move into the bigger industry is to start seeking collaboration opportunities. And that's what networking does. Oh, I am into this. For instance, when we started the Sokoto Book and Art Festival in 2022, at the time we were doing different things. We were doing, I was running Book O'Clock in 2020. I started Book O'Clock, and my co-founders at the time, um, Abdubasit Balogun, had started the Poetry Club, Usman Danfodi University. Yusuf Shehu Ambrosa had started the Caliphate Arts and Literary Forum. And we're individually doing amazingly well, doing our own stuff. I was more involved in seeing how we can grow literacy and literacy rate in Sokoto and see how more people can become interested in books. Abdubasit was with his platform trying to see how he can encourage the engagement of poetry. Caliphate as a literary firm was seeing how they can harmonize culture and art in Sokoto Caliphate. And then we realized that we are basically doing serving the same people, serving the same community, but from different perspectives. How about we come together and do one thing that is able to harmonize all these activities and achieve even a greater goal than ourselves? To create something that would outlive us and continue to serve people, which is what we were called to do in our individual platforms. And we recognized that we had individual strength, so we pulled out of these individual strengths, pulled our individual influence, pulled all of our individual abilities, and created something beautiful that stands the test of time and still runs on to today. So you see what networking is able to help you create opportunities for joint ventures, be able to achieve greater goals, reach wider audiences, reach wider people by recognizing the people around you and seeing how you can work with them. The very importantly is that it encourages healthy rivalry that leads to growth. Sometimes a little rivalry is not bad. We get sometimes we forget and become too lazy or become too laid back, too relaxed. We're not doing anything and we are comfortable with not doing anything. But when you surround yourself with people who are like-minded, when you surround yourself with people who are taking the same steps that you hope to take, you would realize that you are always on your toes because you want to grow. You want to be like them. You want to see what they are doing. You want to also have the same influence they have. So you become interested in this in growth opportunities, and you begin to do better than you were doing better than when you were relaxed and not having anybody in your cycle to check you. And that is also something that affects us. Many times we are so comfortable with the little efforts we are making. We never dare to do bigger things because, oh, I am doing this one thing and everybody is talking about me. Everybody wants to be like me. Oh, I make a post, 1 million people are interested, they are clapping for me. But there are bigger waters to fish, to swim in. And when you surround yourself with people who have such kind of mindset, who have a growth mindset, you would see that they start influencing you. They start rubbing off on you, that you begin to cultivate the ability to aspire for more. Aspire for more, not in the sense of you being an opportunist, but because you know that there is more work to be done. Because the moment you become comfortable and say you are done working, you have achieved everything you need to achieve, that is when you start feeling. So a good network helps you in encouraging that healthy rivalry. You have a checkmate. Oh, am I doing enough? What can I do to correct myself? What can I do to do better? And then that is leading you to growth and learning, which is another importance. So in that process, you are now finding new avenues for knowledge and self-improvement. Oh, because we're in an age where people are so generous with sharing their work process. Nobody is being stingy again with it. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I talk about everything. I'm doing something, I share in details how I came about it and the steps I took to do that. Because everybody, we serve a community, especially if you are in the development space. The work you are doing is not meant for your personal use. It is to correct a certain problem. It is to solve a problem that you have identified. And if you're not generous with your process, there won't be other persons who will pick up after you or who will succeed you or who will even do it at the same time as you in solving that problem that you are solving. So when you have a good network, if you are opening up new avenues for knowledge and self-improvement, you're learning new ways to solve the problems you are solving better. You're learning new ways to approach the things you are doing better. If you aspire for great for academic opportunities, you are seeing new ways to write your essays better. You are learning how to do this better. That is what it does because you are seeing interactions. You're having interactions with persons who are thinking like you. But if you are in a network of persons who are very distant from what you do, you would remain in the same position without growing because you would always feel that you're at the top of your game when you are not. Accountability. It offers you partners who keep you on track, very related to community. You see, because of how people you checks and balances, you have conversations, honest conversations with people. Do you think I'm doing enough? What do you think I can do to do this better? They offer you advice. You offer them advice because it is give and take. You're not just taking from them, you're also giving them, making them realize that you are also an important asset in their own network, which you will come to talk about. Then finally, greater networks. Yes, when you are in a network, it gives you opportunity for even bigger and wider networks. I'll share an example. In 2023, sorry, this year, 2024, yeah, I moved to Lagos for my NYC and I joined the Lagos International Poetry Festival, which I was part of the team that curated the ninth edition of the festival. Now, in the festival, I had formed a couple of connections with other literary curators in that industry. And in one of my outings, I met the curator of the Lagos Book and Art Festival. Now, when he approached me for a conversation to sort of make a comment on a panel I had moderated that he enjoyed, my director of that international poetry festival immediately said, "Oh, this guy is an asset. If you need him for anything in your festival, I mean, he's available and will do a great work." Now, because I was an asset to his own network, he is now taking me to other networks. He's now selling me to other networks. He's now pitching me to other networks. So when you are able to function properly in your network, in that certain network that you, no matter how small it is, being able to give diligently, which is what we'll talk about, sustaining and building that network, being able to carry out those tips and steps and processes, you would realize that you become an asset. And from being an asset, you are liable to even get bigger connections and able to get even bigger platforms. And that's how it works. You know, when you are within a network, you get invited to spaces, you get invited to events and conferences and other places that might give you an opportunity to speak with other people. And before you know it, you've met other persons and your enterprise or what you are doing becomes bigger. Another example would be when attended the Sharjah International Booksellers Conference in the United Arab Emirates in 2022. I met with at the time I had a very small network of booksellers who were mostly Nigerians that I was working with here in Lagos, Sokoto, Lagos, because I oscillate between both states here in Nigeria. So when I went to the conference, because I knew the owner of Roving Heights, and because Roving Heights is considered one of like the top bookstore in Nigeria, because I knew the owner of Roving Heights, he sort of carried me along in all his conversations. He was going to have a meeting with Kinokuniya. Kinokuniya is like one of the biggest bookstores in Asia. They have like a very large chain of reach. And he was going to have a conversation, a full-blown conversation with one of the, I think the program manager or so of Kinokuniya, which is like an opportunity for even he himself that is already a big shot. And he carried me along, and he was conversing, and then I just felt like I should ask a question, a brilliant question that could help me. So I asked him a question that was very relevant to what I needed to know at the time. And he was very interested in what I was doing. And I really was very, he was, he tickled his curiosity to know who is this young person asking this kind of intelligent question. Immediately he was like, okay, what do you do? Exchange contacts. So today, he still checks in, oh, what's going on in Book O'Clock store? What are you guys doing? What are the things you need to do and stuff. So that one network that was considered local is now exported because you're able to maximize the small network you have to get bigger networks. So moving on. So for the purpose of this, please can you all hear me? Because at the point I'm completely blind. I'm looking at the slides and I'm not looking at the chat.
I can hear you, sir.
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I'm blind. I cannot see my slide at the moment. So types of networking. So we have two types of networking. For the purpose of this conversation, I decided to limit it to two types of networking. I mean, for your further research, you might see something else. But for this conversation, we're looking at two types of networking: online networking and offline networking. So what is online networking? Now, this is the kind of networking that takes place via social media or other online platforms. An example platform would be LinkedIn. So this is where this kind of networking is what is most rampant these days because the world is a digital age. We are moving past the in-person network anymore. We're moving past you having to see someone to exchange contact and all those things. Now it is now a virtual space. The world has become so globalized that everything is happening online. So it is very important that you actually develop online networking skills because the chances of you meeting these persons whom you are interested in building a network with is slim because everyone is now going back to not going back, everyone is going forward to the virtual space. I mean, with artificial intelligence becoming a thing, it's even going to get even deeper. So you have to maximize your online networking to understand AI and see how AI can be used in building network. So let's learn. How do we build an online network? So these are steps that I've practicalized in my own space, in my own work, which I've decided to share with you. Very important step: be networkable. Position your virtual self. What do I mean by this? Who are you? What is your brand? What is your personal brand? What do you say? What does your virtual identity say about who you claim you are? What do I mean by this? You say you are you're someone interested in a PhD or a master's in so field. This is your interest, or you are interested in furthering your studies through a scholarship. This is what you say your interest is. Beautiful. But what does the content contained in your virtual space say about your interest? What do you say? What do you retweet? What do you share? What do you post? Those things determine how people are able to receive you, how people are able to perceive you. Because at this point, we're all young persons who are starting out on our careers. We do not have enough PR yet for people to look beyond our for people to look beyond our virtual space and see the inner us. No, it is what you post that people take you to be. And in networking, if you send, for instance, on LinkedIn, if you send a connection invite to me, I'm going to look through your profile. I'm going to look through your profile. As small as I am, I'll look through your profile. Oh, what does this person do? Does this person align with what I hope my space is curated to be? Because everybody wants a timeline that is well curated. Everybody wants a timeline that is well configured that would also align with the opportunities they are seeking. I don't know if you get what I mean. It's all aligns with opportunities they are seeking. So if you're unable to properly curate your time, your own personal brand or your own personal space, you would limit the kinds of networking opportunities you would have enjoyed if you had dedicated in branding yourself properly. So make yourself networkable. Position your virtual self. How do you do that? Talk about what you do. Talk about, oh, you're an intern with a research lab. What do you do? What do you contribute in that lab? Talk about it. Aside from open networking opportunities, it also helps you in it also helps people network with you. Because in networking, as I mentioned before, it is mostly a two-way thing. You are marketing yourself and positioning yourself to network with others and to be networked with. Because sometimes a connection invite is what even invites the opportunities you are seeking, not you inviting another person into your network. So be networkable. Talk about what you are doing. Position your virtual self so that you can be able to access every space you hope to access. Research. What is your industry? What does the virtual community of your industry look like? For instance, in 2015, I think I've shared this story with when I was discussing and talking the last time with you guys. I think that was last year or thereabout. I can't remember anymore. So in 2015 or so, when I wanted to go into when I had realized that I was going to be in the literary world, I was barely out of school at the time. I think 2016, either 2015 or 2016, my memory fails me. So at that time, I realized that I didn't know people around me who liked books as much as I did. And because I was in Sokoto, there were no platforms that were available. Then there was no book o'clock or all of the things we have now that was able to help me groom that love and nurture that love I had for books. I was at the I was close to even shutting it down and going to study law, which was what everybody felt was meant for me because I mean you're good in art, so why are you studying literature? Why are you studying books and all? Then I decided to join the Facebook community of writers. And what I did was I sent requests. And I discovered a community. People were writing on Facebook, sharing their poems. I would send friend requests to them. And I wasn't just sharing friend requests to them. I was seeing what they were doing and seeing how I can also build my personal brand to look like theirs so that they can accept my request. So what did I do? I started sharing excerpts of what I was working on, the little crappy poems I was writing, the short stories I was writing, put together with and post. Why? Because had identified my industry's virtual community, researched and and saw that this is what they were doing. I decided to build my brand to look like that, so that they can accept me into their network. Then what did I do? I started sharing to Facebook, the same thing on LinkedIn. Oh, I see this person. Oh, this person does the same thing. Is interested in quality education. Is interested in solving and climate change. Oh, these are things that align with my interest. I sent them connection requests. They look at my profile and say, oh, this person also aligns with their interest. What happens? There is already a synergy there. We have synced. We have networked with each other. And what happens? I begin to think of how can I collaborate, or is this person worthy of being collaborating with? Because you must not collaborate with every member of the network. No, that's not how networking is. I told you that networking could be something as little as you just having them as accountability partners, having them as people you can always check and see how you can improve your work. You must not say that, oh, because I am interested in networking with this person, I'm going to start a new organization with them. I'm going to start my own non-profit with them. No, that's not networking. That is you being, you're no longer taking into cognizance as the realities and you're just imposing yourself on them, which is something I'll talk about coming on too strong and building your network. No, it is your ability to identify who is this person. I have researched this person. I have identified them as being part of my network. Then identify the role they will play in your network and let them exercise that role without you being coming on too strong and chasing them away from that role. I'll come to talk of that. Very importantly, be an active virtual connection. Engage, especially in the online space. Don't just be a passive person. What kind of contributions are you making when someone shares an opinion on LinkedIn? What kind of thoughts do you make? Or somebody has written a post, someone you are hoping to do something with has shared this idea, has shared this brilliant suggestion on a problem that you're also working to solve. It's expected of you to go there and make a comment, engage them, so that you can also have them engage yours. To be an active virtual connection, then respect boundaries. Do not overstep, respect personal space. Be professional. Not because so person has accepted the request does not make them automatically your friend for you to go and start throwing bans in their comment box. And some people do that. Some people don't care. Oh, because this person has accepted your friend request, you go to the comment and you make a joke, a silly joke about their size, or you make a silly joke about how they look. Very unnecessary comments that does not have any relation to what you are engaging, which is the idea or the post or even the achievement that person is sharing. Those are very unnecessary things. Do not overstep, respect their personal space, and engage them actively while still respecting that this is a professional space. I'm using LinkedIn because I recommended network for everyone who is building, hoping to build a professional network. I'm not I'm not dismissing other social media, no, but I just feel like LinkedIn is much professional than other spaces. Then be intentional, which is what I've already talked about. Choose your associations wisely. Why is this person going to be in my network? You should be able to answer that. Don't just randomly add people because you feel like you want to have them there. Be intentional. What do I seek to benefit? Even if it's as little as you, because you enjoy how they write about, how they present their stories, it is still an important feature. It is still an important reason for you to have them in the network. But just be intentional so that it can also help you in assessing your network and maximizing the network. Now, offline networking. Oh, my PC is getting low. PC is getting low. I've not had power, so my PC is getting low. So if at any point I leave the call, I will rejoin on my phone. Then I might not be able to share my slides from my phone, but I still have my slides. I will share the slide after the call with GBT for your further conversation. I'm sorry about that, but my PC is getting low. I would continue
You
by
know what?
saying,
Can you just you may send a slide to me so I can present from my end.
okay, okay,
How
great,
about
great. Let
that?
me do that right now. Yeah, let me do that right
Okay.
now. Please, that's a brilliant suggestion. Let me do that right now. So offline networking. So offline networking is basically the opposite of online networking. So interactions. Now listen, I have a point that you should highlight. I say despite the digital age, offline networking remains crucial, especially for young leaders. I like to say leaders because oftentimes I think I'm speaking to change makers and leaders. But well, no matter the industry you're in on the call, um, offline networking is still very important to for you to know how to navigate. All right. So how to build an offline network? So number one is attend events. Oh, it's shutting down. Let me quickly rejoin on my phone. But I forwarded the slides to Ajibki. I'll rejoin on my phone right now. Thank you so much. Just let me quickly rejoin on my phone.
Okay, so as of the presentation is going, okay, and I hope you have been driving a lot. Please let's wait a little bit so that
Yes, I'm back on.
please. Okay, sir. You may continue, sir.
Can you confirm receipt of it?
Yes, sir. You may continue, sir.
Sorry?
Go ahead, sir. You can go ahead, sir, if you can hear me.
Okay, okay. I was hoping that GPK should would share this slide so that I can proceed.
I am yet to receive the slide, so you may proceed. I will
Okay, that's strange because I've sent it to your email.
check. All
But
right.
no problem. I mean, all right. So I was talking about offline networking, right? All right. So offline networking, I said, is the opposite of the online networking. It is the networking built and sustained through in-person interactions. So it's important to is if you say that, oh, we're in a digital age, I don't need to learn how to network offline, you are fooling yourself because irrespective of how digitalized the world has become, it is still very important for us to be able to develop or acquire those skills that are needed in building an offline network. Because not everything goes on online. Companies, brands, organizations, individuals are still having like full-blown lives, that are offline. So your inability to then sort of build an offline network, utilize that network, and maximize that network for your own personal growth limits you, and your growth becomes hampered. All right, so let's learn how to build an offline network. Please, can you confirm if you've seen the slides, Ajuki?
Yes, I'm working towards presenting it now.
Okay, okay. All right. So one very key step in building an offline network is attending events. Attending events. Participate in related outings. You cannot meet people when you are at home. You need to really step out of your comfort zone and see how you can go and meet these persons whom you are interested in building a network with. Attend events. For example, um, I when I arrived in Lagos earlier this year, I attended a comic book conference. I don't even know why. I just wanted to attend an art related event. I attended this event. I met with a publisher that I was already in network with from Sokoto here, who supplies books to us. And then I had a full blown conversation about what I was doing, and I was able to make them realize that I'm not visiting Lagos. I'm in Lagos for now. And I made them realize that aside from being a bookseller, I mean, I'm a public speaker. I can be able to moderate. I can speak on a panel. I can moderate a panel. I can have conversations that are related to arts and culture. I didn't do this
All
by
right, can you
explicitly
confirm?
saying that.
See my screen?
Yes, sir. We can see.
Hello, can you see my screen? All right.
Yes, I can see your screen. Yeah. Okay, move to the next slide, please. Okay, I guess while he's figuring it out, let me continue my story. So I said, I didn't explicitly say, no, no, no. The slide before that, yeah. The slide before that. The slide before that. Yeah, thank you. How to build an offline network. After that, just move to the next page after offline networking. Perfect. You are the right slide. So I was saying that I didn't explicitly say, oh, this is I'm in Lagos now. Come and invite me, come and give me this gig and all of that. No, I didn't just come out too strong and say all of that. But I was able to sell myself within that little conversation that we had by letting them know that this is I am in Lagos and I can be able to host conversations without expecting anything. I just saw that as an opportunity to talk about what I do and the fact that I'm in Lagos now and available to attend future events that they are hosting or they would be invited to. Less than 2 months after, I got an email invite from them to come and moderate a panel discussion they were going to have in a festival they were invited to, Kuramo Festival of Words. So a conversation that was going to talk about how um, arts and culture have been able to maximize technology, maximize technology in exporting local culture to the global audience. So that's what the conversation was going to be about, and I was invited to moderate it. It was at Eco Hotel, a very beautiful event that went beautifully well. You know, so what the point of this is that they couldn't have possibly known this. They couldn't have possibly been aware of my presence and my availability if I had not showed up. It is important for you that when building an offline network, you attend events that are aligned in areas or industries that you are interested in values that you're interested in, and then attend them. Not just attend an OMB or a party or something. No, I'm referring to events, conferences. Let me be specific. Conferences, festivals, if you are in the arts and literary industry, conferences, pay to attend them. Aside from the fact that you learn the resources that are available at that festival or at that event, you get to meet with other persons who are like you and build strong connections that could be useful in the future. Ask questions. Post relevant and intelligent questions. Very important. It is very important to be an active participant in anything you are doing. You don't know who is watching. You don't know who is listening to you. You don't know who is taking notes. So when you have an opportunity to speak, even if it's for 2 seconds, speak well. So you're not asking any irrelevant question, you're asking an intelligent question such that whoever is responding to you can take note of you, can can remember that, oh, this person asked this brilliant question. Or you listen to a conversation or a presentation on something. Ask an intelligent question that would also make other persons who are there, give them an opportunity for them to learn more, and at the same time become aware of your existence. Become aware that, oh, you attended so event, and this is what you have shared in so event. What that does for you is that it's already creating an impression for you, and that impression goes ahead of you, such that when you start having conversations after the event, you become that guy or that lady who asked that brilliant question. For instance, what I do, I select the events I attend here in Lagos, and each time I attend this event, I try to see that my presence is established. For instance, last year I attended IT Festival, one of the biggest literary festivals in Africa. I attended it, and they were talking about, I think they were having a conversation about, I think a representative from Google was making a presentation on how people can maximize um, the Google database in uploading their the pictures and videos, that is documentations of their culturally related events on Google, so as to immortalize those events. And I'm doing something related to arts and culture, no matter how little in Sokoto. I knew the response to my question, but I wanted everyone to know that this is who I am and this is the Sokoto guy that they probably know on social media. And I asked the question. Now, for like 10 minutes after my question, I was the center of attention because, in response to my question, it made even the curator of that festival become aware that I attended this program. I became curious to know what we were doing in Sokoto. And after that event, I got people walk up to me to exchange contacts, ask questions more related to the question I had asked about how to also digitalize using Google, and at the same time see how we can export Ariwa culture in the global space. Because I was able to maximize that opportunity, that platform, even if I was not on the stage, even if I was not there as a guest, in asking an important and timely question. So I don't just mean you raising up your hand and asking any random question that has already been answered before. No, no, no. At that point, you are dismissing yourself as you are sort of creating an impression that you're not listening. You're not a good observer. Be observant and ask brilliant questions. And that is not the only way. You must not have a question. That's fine. But these are steps that I have utilized. Know who you want to network with beforehand, if possible. If possible, because sometimes guests can spring up and you might not even know who they are. And it's only after they have made that presentation you become interested in who they are, and then you start wanting to get to connect with them. But in this case, where probably you have a guest lineup, you have seen who the guest lineup is. It is your duty for someone who has realized that this person will be useful to me in my network, or I'll be useful to them in their network. Because remember, it's give and take. It's a two-way relationship. I take from you, I give to you, which is still mutual. I will still come to that. You should be able to then identify areas that align with what you're already doing, so that when you approach them for a conversation, it becomes easy, which is what I mean here by being subtle. Approach without coming on too strong. I've had persons who walk up to me and they scare me because they're already coming on too strong. They're already looking like people who will start asking me, who will start making requests that I cannot fulfill. Don't scare your contacts away. Make them feel like you are going to be an asset to them by being subtle in your conversation. If I had walked up to those publishers and just said, "Oh, I'm in Lagos. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I will give you. This is what I will take," you're not doing a 2 minute speech. Nobody is coming to call you to come and do a 2 minute speech. No, everybody wants. No matter how collaboration is encouraged, people are scared because there are opportunities. People want to ride on other people's efforts. People want to ride on other people's influence. Don't sell yourself too short. If you come out and make yourself too little before their eyes, they will abuse you. They are going to use you and dump you. But if you approach with subtlety, just like for instance, the way if you are writing a code letter to a post supervisor, you know how your code email is supposed to be drafted. You're not going to come on to say, "I want you to give me funding for so research I'm working on." No, make the person feel seen by talking about a previous research, because that is also networking. I hope you know that seeking for funding is networking, because at the end of the day, when that person gives you funds, you have networked with them. They are part of your network. So approach that person and make them realize that probably you read their paper, probably you are interested in their research, probably you wrote a review of their research. Make that person feel seen as an individual, and at the same time establish that it aligns with who you are. I think,
Hello, sir.
yeah.
Please, you have 5 minutes to round up the presentation.
Oh, so sorry. Thank you very much. All right. So, back to what I was saying. So, to be subtle, don't come on too strong, and see how you can establish who you are, and at the same time, without chasing them away. Manage expectations. Sometimes it might not go out as you want. At the end of the day, this person might not know you. This person might not be interested in who you are. It is very okay. It does not make them a bad person. It does not make you a bad person either. It just means that it is not meant to work. Then don't leave without exchanging contact details. Ask for official contact. It could be an email address or a LinkedIn. Very important. An official contact address, if you ask for a phone number, it might be coming on too strong. Ask for an email address. Ask for a LinkedIn. Probably say, "Can I get a LinkedIn so I can keep tabs of what you are doing and learn from you?" Or, "Can I get a LinkedIn so I can also share further this conversation Can I have your email address for an idea I want to present with you? As simple as that. And you realize that it works. Please, next slide. Next slide. Move on, next slide. So how to sustain your network? Very important. It's not just about building your network. You have to be able to sustain it. So number one, be active, which is what I've talked about. Participate regularly in the network. Don't just be a passive partner. Whether it's the online space or an in-person network, see how you can keep tabs, see how you can continue being an active participant. Don't just be that kind of a person who, when it's only when you need them, you reach out to them. No, contribute to the conversations they are having and see how you can also improve their own work. And at the same time, hope that they do the same thing in your work. Networking is give and take. Avoid being just a taker, which is what I've talked about already. They have talked about their work. See areas you can actually contribute to what they are doing and offer your volunteer to assist in such areas or pitch to assist in such areas. What happens is that they realize that you are an important network to them and they give you access to other opportunities that you may be seeking from them. Acknowledge success. So publicly acknowledge the results of your networking. Oh, I collaborated with so person in doing this. In your reportage about that online, acknowledge that this is what they have done for you. And it helps you in keeping that network. So that next time, if you need that sponsorship or that partnership, it's easier for them to agree and offer it to you. Stay connected, which is similar to being active. Show appreciation. Celebrate the achievements of others. These people whom you are in network with, talk about them. What are the achievements they are making? Talk about their work. Talk about their work process. It helps them realize that you consider them important and they will also consider you important. And then, very importantly, don't overlook your neighbor. Don't overlook your neighbor. What I mean by this is that that little thing you were doing within that small network you have, don't discard what you are doing with them and see how you can even further and further maximize that little space that you're working in. Oftentimes we forget that the most important people are the people around us and we start looking for the big mentors that are far away. No, that is not how it works. When you look for them, you cannot access them, but the people around you help you in building a network. So I think for my conclusion, there are 5 quotes there that I think GBK is no longer sharing. There are 5 quotes that are there, so you could just take it home, reflect on them personally, and um, see how it can impact your work and the work, and to see how you can impact your work, and at the same time, your already existing networking abilities, which I believe you have, and eventual achievements and successes you record from there. So you have your network is your net worth, the popular one that we know by Potak. Then other ones there. Um, Networking is not just about connecting people, it's about connecting people with people. Just as I said before, it begins from person A and person B to person C and D, like that, like that, like that. It's a chain. You meet one person, the other person meets the other person, and before you know it, you are global. Then the third one is can I get the third one, Ajivike? Is the number one unwritten rule of success in businesses, networking. Very important you have that at the back of your mind. And I think the fourth one is what I want to emphasize on quickly. The way of the world is meeting people through other people, which is what has been talked about. The final one. Be genuinely interested in everyone you meet, and everyone you meet will be genuinely interested in you. That is the truth. When you establish that genuinity in meeting people, they become interested in you. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you so much for listening. I apologize for the interruptions with my with my battery power. I'm very sorry about that. So thank you so much for listening. So that's my LinkedIn handle, Uchenna Emelife. I hope I get connection invites from everyone on this call, and I really hope to build something beautiful. Just to share a testimony, the last time I was on the call with you guys, I built a network with a graphic designer whom I'm currently working with, who is still part of the Book O'Clock team. So we're working together to this very day. Very brilliant graphics guy, Bani, and through him we've been able to sort of sell our ideas through beautiful illustrations and graphics that he has been able to do in the last couple of months to let you know that the work you are doing as a platform is important and there are practical stories and evidences that prove that. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. You have indeed shared practical experiences with us. Uh, Thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. So the next item of the agenda is the question and answer session, and this will be handled by the organizing secretary, the person of scholar Amori Omar.
So I'm struggling to
So I'm
hear you,
struggling to
Rabilu.
hear you, Rabilu. Okay, can you? Am I audible now, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. As I said, thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful presentation, and we are very, very grateful for sharing your practical experiences in professional networking. Thank you so much, sir. The next item of the agenda is the question and answer session, which will be handled by the organizing secretary in person of scholar Umar Amori. If you can hear me, please kindly unmute your mic and handle the session. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, the Publicity Secretary. My name is Umar Farouk Amari, and I will be moderating the uh, question and answer section. So, scholars, if you, I know we all enjoy this presentation from our senior, our mentor, in person of scholar Uchenna Emelife. So, if you have question for him, you can drop your question in the chat box or raise your hand while I call you to speak. So, yeah, we'll be expecting questions. Scholars, let's drop those burning questions that we have.
Well, it seems scholars do not have questions at the moment, but let's keep anticipating their questions and while we anticipate scholars' questions.
Okay, it's like the moderator has a question for our facilitator. So, Scholar Robin, can you go ahead?
Um, okay, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. So my question is that in regard to offline networking and online networking, so which one should you recommend someone to like give more priority in building? Should someone give more priority in building his online networking or offline networking? As to my knowledge, I think the online networking might have more emphasis on or impact. So I don't know what you will say about that.
Thank you so much, Ridwan. So I think at the end of the day, it's dependent on your community, that is the industry that you work with. You know, where the peer persons whom you hope to learn from, whom you hope to connect with, where do they function more, online or offline? And where are you? Because the problem is that sometimes where we are is a limitation. For instance, if you're in Sokoto, you might not be able to access offline all of the opportunities someone who is in Abuja or Lagos or Port Harcourt can be able to access. You know, so at that time, in that situation, since you cannot possibly start traveling all the time, which is very unnecessary, it is to focus on building your online brand, just as I told you, and connecting online. Then opportunities that may come for you to attend conferences, that for you to attend events, professional events that would help you grow. You do that and see how you can build on those online networking that you already have, but letting them know, oh, I'm so person online. It happens, it's very common. I mean, when I attended a workshop in January, I didn't even realize that 40% of the attendees, the persons whom I already have conversations with on LinkedIn. So it was very easy for me to further the conversation. They were like, "Oh, Uchenna Emelife," it's just like, "This is you, right?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And it was easy for me to further that connection we already had. So that's what I would respond. So it's left for you now to study the industry you're interested in and see where they function more, and then working, in line with that findings that you've made. So I hope that has responded to your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful response. So next we have Scholar Abdurrashid Akere raising his hand. Scholar Abdurrashid, you can go on.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, the facilitator, for the wonderful session. My question goes thus, sir, if it happens that we network with someone and he gave us his contact, so maybe after that time we were trying to reach out to him through that maybe phone number or email, but it is not going through. So now we now have another opportunity to meet the person maybe physically in another event, like you have advised that we should be attending events. So is it necessary that we should start the conversation by saying that you gave us the contact the other time but it was not going through, or it will be unreasonable? So what do you suggest in that regard? And also, some people, when you network with them, after telling them who you are and what you want from them, they may not be responding to your chat again. So what do you suggest in that regard as well? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you so much, editor. Thank you. First question. Let me just share a funny experience. One time during one of the editions of the Sokoto Book and Art Festival, we had a commissioner in attendance who came. I still think today it was a PR move. They came with like a crowd of people, met with me, was like, brilliant work you're doing. I'm going to give you my contacts. Call me. Let's see how we can take this further. Gave me what was supposed to be his personal number. And I called him right there in the festival. It went through. But after that festival, that number never went through again. You know, it never went through. And people who attended that festival will be like, this man was just a good man. He did such a great work for him to have humbled himself and share his contact with these young people doing work in Sokoto. It happens. Sometimes, just as I mentioned before, manage your expectations. Not everyone will be interested in not everyone will be interested in what you are doing. And that is okay. It does not make them a bad person. It does not make them bad people. It simply means that they are not the right network for you. But if you are really, really interested in building a network with them, it is good for you to start from a place of familiarity. One important guide that has one thing I sort of guides, my mantra that guides anything I do is that I begin from the familiar to meet the unfamiliar. People are more comfortable with an already existing relationship than building a new one. So if you are subtle in your approach and reminding them that, oh, you met them at so time, and this is what you did. Sure, sorry, just a quick anecdote. Earlier this year, I was invited to, I registered for a book chat with Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and I had earlier had an interaction with Chimamanda sometime in 2022 when I won her. She was doing something to celebrate her Women's Prize. I won it, and I got a free ticket to attend the Women's Prize event online. I think that was in 2021 or thereabouts. So when I met with her, we had an opportunity to sit with Chimamanda to have like just a 2 minutes, 3 minutes conversation. I knew that I needed to let her know that this is not my first time us discussing. So the first thing I did was when she was autographing my book, I talked about that little Instagram chat we had by letting her know that, oh, I won the 2022 and I was invited to the Women's Prize where you got to this. And she immediately remembered, oh, I remember that. Oh, you're the one. Oh, amazing. That's amazing. How have you been? This. While still doing that, I told her of what I was doing in Sokoto and said it would be such an honor to have her in Sokoto. I don't know whether that what guy is going to come out of, whether anytime in the future we're going to have her in Sokoto, but I established who I was within that little time because I was able to connect to a familiar event that we both connected with. So I would advise that you be subtle in your approach without coming on too strong and remind them of an already existing connection and then build on that. The second one, let it go. Not everybody is interested in what you are doing. You have made your request known. Maybe it can also be a problem of your manner of approach. Don't I like to emphasize on this. Don't come on too strong. Identify what you need from them and what you are going to benefit from them. Just like if you are saying a partnership proposal, you're not just going to tell the person to come and give you money or to give you attention. What did they seek to benefit from you? So you're not going to spell it out by writing, I'm interested in building a network with you. If you build a network with me, I am going to be liking your post. And in turn, I want you to be liking my own post. No, 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 no. Be subtle. Engage what they are doing, share opinions. And before you know it, you begin to realize ways that this person can help you. So you have to be subtle in your approach. And if it seems like it's not working, let it go, move on, go to the next person, go to the next individual, and keep making effort. And you would realize that people are connecting with you. And let me just add this on a final note. Do not look beyond people that are around you. Sometimes that network you are seeking are those 3, 4 persons that are in your class. Can be just 3, 4 persons who are in your school. It might not be that individual who is not in the country as you are. It can be just those 3 people who are making similar efforts as you are. But when you pull your resources together, pull your efforts together, you can do something greater than when you keep waiting for that person who is at the top to come down and meet you. Yeah. So I hope that those responses are able to respond to your questions.
Scholar, could you answer
Yes,
your
sir.
question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
That's great. So next on the list is scholar Shoaib Muhammad Bashir. Can go on.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. So I think I have 2 questions to ask. The first one is like a request. The first one is like a request. So please, can you tell us the turning point in your career? Because some of us feel like we want to hear something like that, so that it can motivate us. So the second one is a question. I've always been drawn to the tech industry, but I'm unsure if my background in agriculture is related to tech. So, can you share something like a personal story or experience about how someone can transition the career through networking and challenges to be faced along which one can foresight as something that one will overcome when you are trying to overcome the challenges? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I will respond to question 2, then react to question 1. Now, I know I have a friend, okay, someone in my network, Vivian Chine Pius Room, who was a guest in 2023, 2022. I was with TEDx Aquila at the time, and I was curating a panel discussion to mark International Youth Day. So Vivian is a lawyer whom I really liked what she was doing with the law space, because she was a lawyer who was incorporating tech into that. So she had like a law tech firm or thereabouts. So I brought her in as a panelist to talk about you know, how young people can maximize frontiers, that is, things that are currently in vogue in their personal careers. And as I speak with you today, Vivian is not doing anything related to law. She has completely moved to tech, like completely. She's currently doing her PhD. She just wrapped up her master's earlier this year, and she mentioned that she has started her PhD already on fully funded scholarships for both of them. How did she do this? She was generous enough to share her steps. I'm going to be asking you to look up Bibi and Chineye Pius Room on Facebook. I'm not sure if she's on LinkedIn. So she started attending online courses. She took online courses, sort of rebranded completely from the usual quotes that she was sharing on Facebook, from the usual things she was posting on Facebook. You would see her talking about, I have no idea what tech is, so I can't even remember the topic she was discussing. You would see her sharing thoughts on this. You see people, new persons who I was not familiar are in our audience, who I wasn't familiar with. coming to comment on those things she's talking about. So she would share she has concluded this online course until the day she moved to the UK. That was when I won't realize that she had completely transitioned. And she kept sharing such kind of tips. And now she's doing so well for herself in a space that is entirely different from her academic background. It is very important that we realize that we're at an age where it is now what you have done that speaks for you, not what you studied. I have someone very close to me, my sister, let me be plain, who is currently in the mental health space with an education background and has done such an impressive work in the mental health space and has been able to secure opportunities in that same industry. How? Because she dedicated her time through internships, volunteering, uh, um, taking online courses. These are ways that you can grow personally and joining communities that are online that are doing this work and seeing what they are doing that you can actually do to yourself. I don't have a personal story because I have not left all my life as in arts and literature. So what I just do is that I keep interfacing arts and literature together with other aspects, maybe arts and literature in relation to climate change, arts and literature in relation to quality education. So that's what I do. But my my focus has always been arts and literature. So it is not impossible, but don't expect it to be a simple journey. It's not going to be a simple journey. I think if you can be expectant of all the bumpy roads, you can be able to survive that transition. Take online courses, do internships, do a lot of volunteering, and begin to seek for opportunities. And those internships and volunteering will speak for you and give you access to places where your degree might not get you into. That's what I would share. A turning point in my career. I do not like to speak of turning points because the idea of turning point suggests comfort. You know, I am still actively pursuing what I hope would be my turning point, and I eventually know even if I get to that turning point, I will still say it's not a turning point. I think that we shouldn't be distracted by fits. We shouldn't be distracted by uh, um, what society might term as you arriving. No, our goal should be that our end goal should be that we continue the work irrespective of where we have gone to. You know, my passion, if you ask me my passion is when I can respond. But if you ask me a turning point, I might not give you a response. I feel like I don't take my time, I don't sit down and begin to ask myself what I consider as the height of my work. No, every day is an opportunity for me to do better than I've already done. So every day is a turning point because I try to see how I can out max what I have achieved and do better than I have. So that's what I would say to my. Sorry, I can't exactly give a time in my life that I consider that. Maybe when I graduated, because I mean I was very happy I graduated. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the kind response. And the next person will pick only one. Abdul Alim Yusuf, please can you go ahead and ask the question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Uchenna, for the advice and the whole ideas. Anyway, sorry, my question is now, do you have any advice for individuals who are, I don't know, somehow introverted in networking? I don't know if you can provide advice for people who are not so open to networking to that extent. And okay, yeah, sorry, another question again. How do you now handle situation where you feel you're not making meaningful connections? Yeah, those are my two questions, sir.
All right. Very important. It's a brilliant question. Yeah, yes. That's where, thankfully, we have a virtual space. So what I would advise you is to see how you can utilize your online space in doing the work where your offline networking skills might be short of. See how you can build those meaningful connections via your online space. Because I want to imagine that when your introversion does not extend to your social media, does not extend to your digital identity. I want to imagine that your networking skills extend to your physical identity. So you can see how you can build those meaningful connections space. These key things are important. And if you allow your introversion affect you, you are hampering your growth. But at the same time, take it gradually. Take it gradually. See people that you can connect with, no matter how little, and begin to take it up from there. And you begin to see yourself get more comfortable with the crowd. Begin to see yourself get more comfortable with that little amount of people in your network, and you begin to expand. You know, so it's a gradual process that requires so much intentionality and dare. You have to dare yourself. Sometimes these narratives are things we are boxing ourselves at times. Sometimes we say, "Oh, I don't know how to speak in public. Oh, I don't know how to write properly." That may not be the problem. It could just be you boxing yourself up. So you need to really dare and challenge yourself to test new waters and see whether or not you will drown. And even when you drown, you come up and actually try again, because that's the thing. Because even the most confident people, even the most exposed people, even the most influential people are still rejected, still have failures to this day. And yet they are able to pick up from where they left off and give it another shot. So I would advise that you start little and begin to challenge yourself and give yourself like a monthly task to accomplish in your networking, and see how you can pick up from there. And you don't need 1 million people, even one person, two people, three people, so long as you're able to maximize your relationship with them is enough. You're able to maximize that number in seeing that you achieve a common goal, an individual goal, and to serve the community and the public better. That's what I would respond. Then, sorry, what was the second question again? I got lost the first question. What was the second question?
Yeah. My second
Yeah,
question was, how do you handle situations where you feel you're not
Okay, okay, I
making
remember now.
useful connections
Yeah,
or meaningful uh, useful connections?
it goes okay, okay. It goes back to intention. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
yeah.
Okay, I got your question. Can every other person hear me or
Yes, we can
just
hear you, sir.
okay? I
Yes, we
think
can
at
hear
this
you, but
network is
please,
soft.
can you make it brief?
Can you make it brief? Okay, sure. So it goes back to intentionality, the ability to uh, look introspectively and ask yourself, who are these people here? Are they doing the required work? Am I achieving enough from them? Are they teaching me? Am I learning from them? Are they learning from me? And it's okay for you to cut people off, for you to cut them off and begin to seek for persons who align with your interests. And it's very easy online. All you have to do is unfriend them. All you have to do is to stop following them. You cannot be someone interested in further studies and you're following somebody who all they do is to be posting skits, meaningful, meaningless skits that do not have any value to you, that maybe does not even align with your values. You do it with them and begin to seek for persons who align with what you do and become intentional in rebuilding that space again. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much for your kind responses. Okay, thank you for your responses, and we really the very transformative experiences you shared with us. And this comes to the end of the question and answer session. And uh, with this, I would like to say we are very, very sorry for exceeding the time allotted to the webinar. The webinar is supposed to end by exactly 6 p.m. And due to some technical issues, we added 10 minutes to the webinar. We are very sorry for taking your time. So the next item of the agenda, which is second to the last, is a announcement or reflection, and this should be ended by the convener of the forum. If there is any announcement, please kindly do it brief.
All right. Good evening, everyone, once again, and I appreciate everyone's presence and participation at the forum's webinar. Today's webinar 3.8, and it was packed as well. It was impact filled with our esteemed facilitators, scholar Uchenna Emelife. Uh, I'm very glad that we brought him because he's one of the best person to handle this topic. He took us through how to network like a pro, because we all know that he's actually a pro when it comes to networking. So online, offline, anywhere, he's actually like a pro. He networks like a pro. So it's the best person to handle this topic. So back to the discourse. I am so glad that everyone of us was able to, attend this session, and I'm quite sure each and every one of us was able to learn one or two things. So I would want to inform you all that the eviction process have been completed, and regarding that very soon. So I would also want to add that we should ensure that we attend the rest of the webinars, because we are also looking at the participation level. Okay, so I just want to implore every one of us to be active in terms of webinar attendance, and also participation in programs activities. We have a colloquium coming up very soon, so everyone should start preparing, because the second semester is coming to an end very soon. So we all should start preparing for the colloquium. So if you have maybe any reflection, maybe addition, or something you learned during this session, you may raise up, you may signify, so you will be called to tell us what you learned during the session. All right. You should also ensure that you connect with our speaker, between 9 minutes. Hi, Zulkifli Dairo. Kindly mute yourself. Okay. Sorry for the distraction. So, please let's ensure to connect with our esteemed facilitator, Mr. Uchenna Emelife, on LinkedIn. You could just search his name, Uchenna Emelife. Is on LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, and whatever what they call social media platforms you might think of. He's very active. So just make sure you connect with him, and you put into practice whatever I learned today. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, the convener. Please, scholar, to give your reflections, kindly give an applause to the facilitator by dropping your favorite emoji in the chat box. And the final item of the agenda is a closing remark. Was a closing remark. Scholars are dropping their favorite emojis to applause the facilitator. Thank you.
All right. With this, we have come to an end of the session. So thanks everyone for attending, and have a nice day.
And have a nice day.